Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Today is Tuesday, February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope that if you are a couple and you are a romantic, that you're having a lovely Valentine's Day, that you're doing something special. And if you don't believe in that kind of thing or you're just not up for it, I hope that you're having a cozy day. I'm actually quite a romantic, so last night I was a bit depressed. I was like, oh no, nobody's going to wish me a happy Valentine's. And actually, an old friend of mine texted me happy Valentine's Day this morning, and that made me happy. So, today I want to talk a little bit about food intolerances. And as usual, I haven't set anything up because I find that if I want to get a video out, I just need to sit down and just do it without too much planning. So here we go. Now, so why did I want to check my food intolerance? For a couple of reasons. Originally, I wanted to check it because I had just made myself gluten-free and dairy-free and egg-free. But the gluten and the dairy I did because I know that they can cause a bit of inflammation. And so I just wanted to get as much inflammation out of my body, kind of try to have as much anti-inflammatory foods, but also make sure that I don't have foods that do cause inflammation as well. Because if I'm adding anti-inflammatory, but then I'm also having inflammatory, it just didn't make sense. So anyway, I did that and for a year and a half, and then I guess I just thought, hold on, let me just actually see if I am intolerant to these foods. Because about 4 years ago, I did a test on gluten and they said I wasn't gluten, and I don't know if they said gluten intolerant. I don't know if they did that, but they did whatever it is to see if I was celiac. So that I wasn't. So anyway, I went privately. I went through my local chemist. He has like a nutrition section, and so I asked him if I could do a test. I actually asked for this overall test of metals and mold and everything. I didn't even ask for a food intolerance test. That's right. He suggested a food intolerance test. So I said, "Oh, that's a good idea." So he only did a food intolerance test. I did the test. What they do is they just take a bit of hair at the back of your head, and quite a big chunk actually that he took, and he sent it off to whoever, and they did the tests, and I got the results within about 5 days. So they went through a lot of foods. And what I'll do is after this video, well, in this video, I will try to screenshot and put pictures of my test, basically. Yeah, I can do that. So what it will show is all the things that they tested for, and then also, well, I won't bother showing you what my test results were because I'm just going to tell you now. But I'll put the bit where what they test for, which is more useful for you if you ever wanted to do a similar test, because of course we're not going to have the same intolerances. So I'm going to just read out what my intolerances were, and I'm also going to comment about how often I actually eat these intolerances, or ate and drank. Actually, before I do that, just to read quickly, basically, food intolerances are different to allergies. With an allergy, you're going to get, it could be anything. I mean, if you have a serious allergy, like say a nut allergy or something, your throat could swell up and you won't be able to breathe, or you get an asthma attack, or you have a rash and all sorts of things. An allergy is really, really, really serious. A food allergy can be life-threatening, whereas an intolerance isn't. But an intolerance can make you feel uncomfortable. It can cause side effects such as irritable bowel syndrome, stomach issues, and also, I wasn't really sure about this, but I have read it again and again and again. I've really done the research. It can cause fatigue, majorly. It can really cause a lot of fatigue. So, for me, I just want to take off as much as fatigue off as possible. I'm pretty sure my fatigue comes from Sjogren's, and that's going to be a hard thing to deal with. But I feel like, yeah, whatever I take off, that will help as well. So, yeah. So But I just want to read quickly something here. What was it things that I read online. Although food is supposed to give you energy, medical research suggests that hidden food intolerances or allergies, but we're talking about intolerances right now, can do the opposite. In fact, fatigue may be an early warning sign of food intolerance or food allergy. Celiac disease, which happens when you can't digest gluten, may also cause fatigue. Oh yeah, it definitely does. And then they suggest trying an elimination diet. So that's that. Yeah, is this the one that, yeah, this one is quite important. Innate immune defense and systemic inflammation. The consequences of food-induced activation of the immune system can initially be subtle, but may become serious over time. The continuous intake of reactive substances causes local micro-inflammation in the intestinal tissue, which spreads insidiously and can manifest itself in other tissues. Therefore, the hormonal, do they mean hormonal? I guess they meant hormonal. The nervous and the metabolic system can be affected, and symptoms may manifest in various forms. This makes it complex, and symptoms might not be identified with food intolerances as the initial cause. I read somewhere else that if you keep eating and drinking what you're intolerant to, it can change your system. You could get autoimmune diseases, possibly. I've read it in some places. So it's good for me that I definitely wanted to do it. So here we go. So these are the foods that I am intolerant to. And I am on day 11 of not having any of these foods. Apart from about 2 or 3 days ago, I was cooking for my mom and I accidentally tasted some rice for her to see if it was cooked and salty enough. And I had a couple of, and then I realized and I actually spat it all out. But I did have a little bit because I'm trying to be so strict to see if it makes a difference. I have to say that by day 3, I felt a lot lighter. And by day 8 or so, I felt more normal within like not having that much fatigue. Basically, I feel a lot. Can you tell that I have more energy? Can you tell that I'm lighter? It could be down to the food intolerance. It could just be that I hadn't been well since Christmas. I've been on very low steroids since a month ago, 29 days ago. But it was so low, it wasn't really doing anything. The doctors did say that maybe it'll take time, and it will. So maybe it's the steroids. The only way I'll know is when I stop taking the steroids, which I'll be lowering it in 10 days' time. So yeah, I guess that's the only way I'll know, because I'm not reintroducing any foods for a while, even though people do. Okay, so my results are, for beverages, they said that I was intolerant to decaffeinated coffee, which is really interesting because I can't have caffeinated coffee because it gives me palpitations, and I have decaffeinated coffee. So I was drinking that, not like I do tea, but I was drinking it on and off, so stopped that. For fermented foods, the only thing they said I was intolerant to was kombucha, which I hardly ever have, so that's fine. And also for beverages, white tea, which I hardly have. And I remember it's further down, but also decaffeinated green tea. I have matcha tea and I have green tea, so but I never have decaffeinated green tea anyway. But I'm going to kind of stay away from green tea for a bit as well, and just have matcha Anyway, condiments, it says soya sauce. Fine, I wasn't having any because of gluten, but I was having gluten-free soya sauce, but now I won't. With fruit, oranges and apples. I hardly ever have oranges. In fact, I was going to have more in my diet. Now I won't. And I do have quite a bit of apples, so I stopped that. With eggs, it says pheasant eggs, and further down, I remember quail eggs. which I don't have. I haven't had quail. I never have. I've never had pheasant eggs, but haven't had quail eggs for about 10 years. For berries, they said I have an intolerance to acai berries. For grains, they say I have an intolerance to red wheat, but I'm still not going to have any wheat. With fruit, I have an intolerance to avocado, which I really have stopped having for many years because whenever I have it, I get really bad boils on my face, which when you see that I have some acne marks, they're from avocado in the past and a few other things. With grains, they say red corn, and then further down they'll say maize. And because I was gluten-free, I was having corn-based things, like, with cookies and things like that, and also rice, which I'll get into in a minute. So I've been having a lot of these foods that I am intolerant to. And no wonder I feel lighter now. Condiments, ketchup. And I remember HB sauce. I love HB sauce, but it doesn't matter. Balsamic vinegar. And I had only just bought a bottle of balsamic vinegar because I was trying to have more salads. And I thought, oh yeah, I'll start having balsamic vinegar. Anyway, that's gone to my mom's. Dairy, basically, there's so much. It's hard cheese, sheep milk. Meat and poultry, it says quail, which I don't have. Fruit, it says dragon fruit, which is interesting because sometimes I would have some dragon fruit juice and I always felt kind of low blood pressure-y or something, so that's interesting. Eggs, ostrich eggs, spice and herbs, dill seed, green tea decaffeinated, and fish and seafood, the only thing is sole, white rice, ghee, goat butter, blue cheese, buffalo milk, medium to hard cheese, cow's milk. Condiment salsa. Okay. And this one is a really big one, evening primrose oil. I used to get really bad PMS years ago, and really bad. So what it would do, I would get depressed, anxious, really horrible feeling and everything. And then I'd get my period, I'd feel better. And then I'd get it was 10 days before my period that I would get PMS, sometimes even maybe 12 days before. And I think one of the reasons at one point I had depression was because of my PMS, because I kept getting depressed. Anyway, I went to a hormone specialist and she advised taking evening primrose oil. And it did wonders. Within a month of taking it, my PMS was better, and I took it continuously for at least a couple of years, and I never had PMS. So I was really, really happy. But only recently, maybe last year, I stopped taking it for a couple of years because I felt that I lost a lot of weight at one point. That one time that I talked about before, one of the episodes I had when they said that I might have thyroid issues. At that point, I thought to myself, I wonder if it's the evening primrose oil that's doing this. Anyway, I stopped it, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and just a few months ago, I was telling my daughter and my mom that I feel that maybe the evening primrose oil did something to my body and changed things, and all this has come from that. Sometimes you just feel something, you suspect something in your body, I don't know, you just have this intuition. And then they told me I'm intolerant, and I was having that high doses of that every day for years. So I may be right. Maybe this was one of my major triggers for getting an autoimmune. Might be. Anyway, grains, white rice and black rice, corn, maize, salted butter. They don't say butter, they just say salted butter. Kamut in grains, and amino acids, carnitine or carnitine. Sparkling water, very bizarre. And fruit, pomegranate, which is lovely. Raw milk and HB sauce, and that's it. So yes, I've been having a lot of these foods all my life, and being Iranian, our staple is white rice. We have white rice in almost every meal. And also pomegranate is another kind of staple of our fruits. So if you feel like it and you do get a test, let me know, or you have had a test, and let me know in the comments what you're intolerant to. And if you have had it done, have you given the foods up for good, or have you reintroduced them? I think they say something like come off them for about 10 weeks and then start introducing one at a time and see how you feel with that one and stuff like that. I'm not going to do that for a very long time. I think I'm just going to experiment with all the other foods that are available and cook and make sure that my vitamins and minerals are okay. And if I see that I'm missing something from the foods that I'm not having, then I'll introduce one of those and see how it goes. But I would like to do this for a long time so that I can gain some benefits. So that's it for this video. So thank you for watching and wishing you a lovely day. It's beautiful and sunny here today. I went out for a walk. I could have walked longer, but I stopped myself because I was worried that I would crash otherwise. So yeah, but I might go and sit on a bench somewhere and just taking the sun for a little bit. Anyway, wishing you all a lovely day and speak to you soon. Bye.